Your grocery store is lying to you. That sale price you're celebrating? Aldi sells it cheaper at full price. But there's a twist nobody talks about. Some Aldi items will actually cost you more in the long run. The list of what to never buy elsewhere? It's not what you think. Let's be honest. You've probably walked past Aldi's olive oil 100 times thinking it can't be that good. It's cheap. It's in a plain bottle. And it sits next to discount cookies. But here's the thing. Carlini Extra Virgin Olive Oil has beaten bottles costing 3 times more in blind taste tests. 3 times more! The secret? Aldi sources from the same Mediterranean regions as those fancy brands with the Italian flags and gold labels. They just skip the marketing budget and the pretty packaging. Traditional grocers mark up olive oil by 40 to 60%. That's not a typo. You're literally paying for a nicer label. And those smaller bottles at Aldi? Actually genius. Oil goes rancid faster than most people realize. Smaller means fresher. Switch your olive oil purchases to Aldi, and you'll save over $80 a year. But olive oil is just the beginning. Wait until you see what they're doing with reading glasses. Now here's something most people walk right past. Aldi sells reading glasses for $3 to $5. The same magnification levels at CVS or Walgreens? $15 to $25. That's robbery in broad daylight. These aren't some flimsy knockoffs either. The frames use identical materials as the expensive ones. Same plastic, same hinges, same little nose pads that leave marks on your face. And here's the beautiful part. At these prices, you can buy 5 pairs. One for the kitchen, one for the bedroom, one for the car, one hiding in the couch cushions where you'll find it 6 months from now. I asked an eye doctor about cheap readers once. His answer? For basic magnification, your eyes literally cannot tell the difference between a $3 pair and a $30 pair. But glasses aren't the only surprise hiding in those middle aisles. Now, let's talk canned vegetables. Happy Harvest brand. 50 cents a can. Meanwhile, Del Monte wants $1.50 for the exact same green beans. Same farms, same processing plants, same everything except the label. Here's what most people don't realize. Those fancy branded cans? The vegetables come from massive industrial farms that sell to everyone. Aldi just skips the Super Bowl commercials and passes those savings to you. And the nutrition argument? Already settled. Canning happens within hours of harvest. Those vegetables get locked in at peak freshness, while fresh produce sits in trucks for days. For seniors watching their blood pressure, low-sodium options exist. For seniors watching their wallets, eating canned veggies daily saves roughly $250 a year. That's a nice dinner out. Every single month. But vegetables are just the start. Wait until you see what Aldi does with dairy prices. Now here's something most people don't realize. Aldi's milk comes from the exact same regional dairies supplying Kroger, Walmart, and every other supermarket in your area. Same cows, same farms, same everything. But you're paying $1 to $2 less per gallon. For seniors who pour milk on cereal every morning and splash it in their coffee, that adds up to over $100 a year. Just on milk. And here's the sneaky part. Aldi actually sells milk below cost. They lose money on every gallon. Why? Because they know once you're in the store saving on milk, you'll grab other things too. Smart, right? The expiration dates match competitors because Aldi's shelves empty so fast. High turnover means fresher milk than stores, where gallons sit around collecting dust. Speaking of things that age well, let's talk cheese. Sharp cheddar cheese blocks. Now here's where Aldi gets sneaky good. A block at Happy Farms runs about $2.50. That same quality at Tillamook or Cabot? $4 to $6 easy. And the funny part? It's literally aging in the same Wisconsin facilities. My neighbor swore she could taste the difference. Blindfolded her with some crackers. She picked Aldi's as the fancy one. I still haven't told her. Here's what most people miss, though. Block cheese stays fresh way longer than that pre-shredded stuff. And grating it yourself? 30 seconds with a box grater saves you roughly 35%. A consumer magazine did a blind taste test in 2023. Aldi's sharp cheddar beat high-end competitors. The judges had no idea. Same sodium content, same protein, same everything on the nutrition label. But cheese is just the beginning. Wait until you see what Aldi does with frozen fish. A few months ago, I had no idea what a health ring even was until my fiancé got me one, and I have to say, I'm shocked this isn't a widely known and used product. It tracks my stress levels, and what I found out is that some supplements made my stress score spike, while others actually helped bring it down. I adjusted a few things based on that, and honestly, I feel 10 years younger. My wife mainly uses it to track her menstrual cycles, and she is obsessed with her sleep quality score. I noticed they are currently running a limited 69% discount, but I don't know how long it will last. It's currently only $60, and it's clear this one is the best bang for your buck, with other health rings priced around $350 with less functions. They managed to price it this low because they cut out the middleman like Amazon, Walmart, etc., who drive up the price and take a big margin, ending up with the customer paying 3 to 5 times more. If you are on TV, you can check it out yourself by pausing the video and scanning the QR code with your phone camera or clicking the first link in the description of this video. Here's the thing about fresh fish. That salmon sitting on ice at your supermarket? It probably traveled for days before landing in that display case. Meanwhile, Aldi's frozen salmon gets flash frozen right on the fishing boat. We're talking minutes after the catch. And the price difference is honestly ridiculous. $6 to $7 a pound at Aldi, $12 to $15 everywhere else, for the exact same fish from the exact same Alaskan and Norwegian waters. But here's what seniors really love. Each fillet comes individually wrapped. Living alone? Just thaw one portion. No waste. No guilt about that expensive fish going bad before you could eat it all. The omega-3s your heart doctor keeps nagging you about? Identical whether you pay Aldi prices or Whole Foods prices. Your arteries genuinely cannot tell the difference. Speaking of healthy eating, wait until you see what Aldi does with organic spinach. Now here's where Aldi quietly embarrasses the fancy grocery stores. Their Simply Nature organic spinach runs $2.99. The same size bag at Whole Foods, $5.99, sometimes more. And get this, those leaves come from the exact same California farms supplying Earthbound and Organic Girl. Same dirt, same sun, same farmers, different sticker. The USDA organic certification doesn't care which store sells it. Organic means organic, period. Here's what I love about Aldi's packaging, though. Smaller containers. Because, let's be honest, those family-sized bags always turn into science experiments before you finish them. Nobody needs a pound of spinach slowly liquefying in the crisper drawer. Plus, pre-washed and ready to eat. No standing at the sink wrestling with loose leaves. Your hands will thank you. Eating healthy shouldn't require a second mortgage. At Aldi, it doesn't. But spinach is just the beginning of your savings journey through the breakfast aisle. Now let's talk about something sitting in almost every kitchen cabinet in America. Breakfast cereal. Aldi's Millville brand makes versions of Cheerios, Raisin Bran, and Frosted Flakes at literally half the price. And here's what the big cereal companies don't want you knowing. Many store brands roll off the exact same production lines as name brands. Same recipe, same equipment, different box. A senior eating cereal daily saves roughly $150 annually just by switching to Millville. Check the nutrition panels yourself. The fiber, sugar, and vitamin content? Virtually identical. The ounces per box? Same as the fancy brands. Blind taste tests consistently show most people can't tell Millville from Kellogg's when the boxes aren't visible. Your taste buds don't care about cartoon mascots. But speaking of things your body can't tell apart, wait until you hear what's happening with the ground beef. Now here's where Aldi really starts saving you serious money. Ground beef at Aldi runs $1 to $2 cheaper per pound than Walmart. Compared to Publix or Safeway, you're looking at $3 to $4 less. And before you ask, yes, it's the same meat, same USDA-inspected plants, same cows, same everything. The difference? Aldi doesn't waste money on fancy butcher displays and mood lighting. What I really appreciate is the variety. They stock 73% lean for tacos, 80% for burgers, 85% for meatballs, and 93% for the health-conscious crowd. Whatever your recipe needs, they've got it. Here's the smart part for smaller households. The package sizes are reasonable. No more buying 3 pounds when you only need 1. Fresh deliveries come multiple times weekly, too. Sometimes faster turnover than the big stores. Speaking of protein, that won't break the bank. Now, let's crack open a topic that's close to every breakfast lover's heart. Organic eggs at Aldi run around $3.50 to $4 per dozen. Whole Foods, $6 to $7 for the same thing. Here's what most people don't realize. USDA organic certification doesn't care where you buy your eggs. The chickens eat the same organic feed. They live under the same welfare standards. The shells contain identical nutrients. So why the price gap? Marketing budgets, fancy packaging, store overhead. You're literally paying extra for a prettier carton. And if you want cage-free or pasture-raised, Aldi has those too. At prices that won't make your wallet cry. Every organic carton carries the same USDA stamp. Same inspections, same rules. Whether it costs $4 or $8, the chicken doesn't know the difference. Speaking of savings that add up fast, your baking cabinet is probably bleeding money. Now, let's talk about the most boring aisle in any grocery store. Baking supplies. Flour, sugar, baking soda. These aren't exactly exciting purchases, but here's what makes them interesting at Aldi. Baker's Corner flour costs 30 to 50% less than gold medal. And here's the thing nobody tells you. All-purpose flour is literally the same wheat, milled to identical specifications industry-wide. There's no secret gold medal wheat field somewhere. Sugar? It's chemically identical, whether the bag says Domino or Baker's Corner. Molecules don't care about branding. My favorite part? Baking soda from Aldi passes the same USP purity standards as Arm and Hammer. Your cookies won't know the difference. Promise. Seniors baking for grandchildren save $5 to $10 per project. That adds up when birthdays roll around. Plus, smaller bag sizes mean your flour won't turn into a science experiment before you use it. Speaking of things you'd never expect to save on at Aldi. Peanut butter. The ultimate comfort food that somehow costs $4 at regular stores for what's essentially crushed peanuts. Aldi's version? About $1.79. Same peanuts, same salt, same oils. The jars even look suspiciously similar. Here's what kills me. Jif and Skippy spend millions on commercials showing choosy moms and kids with peanut butter smiles. Guess who pays for those ads? You do. Every single jar. A senior eating one jar monthly saves around $25 yearly. Not life-changing money, but that's a nice lunch out. And the natural peanut butter at Aldi? Just peanuts and salt. Exactly like those fancy health food brands charging double. The protein per serving? Identical across every brand. 14 grams doesn't care about marketing budgets. Plus, Aldi's creamy version spreads smooth as silk. Important when arthritis makes spreading difficult. But peanut butter needs a partner. And Aldi's bread prices will genuinely shock you. Bread. The thing you buy every single week without thinking. And every week, you're probably overspending by $2. Doesn't sound like much until you do the math. That's over $100 a year. On bread. Love and Fresh loaves at Aldi run about $1.29 to $1.89. Sara Lee? Arnold? They want $3 to $4 for the same enriched flour, the same preservatives, the same soft texture. Here's what nobody tells you. Aldi's bakery items arrive multiple times weekly. That fresh baked bread at the fancy store? Sometimes it's been sitting there longer than your cousin's fruitcake. Now, let's talk bagels. 6 bagels at Aldi cost $1.69. At the regular grocery store, $4 to $5. Same sesame seeds, same chewy center. But bread's just the start. Wait until you see what Aldi does with canned tuna. Canned tuna might be the most overpriced protein in America. Starkist and Bumblebee charge nearly $2 per can for fish that swam in the exact same ocean as Aldi's northern catch. 89 cents. That's what Aldi charges for identical skipjack tuna caught by the same fishing fleets. Here's what the fancy labels don't tell you. All commercial tuna gets processed through the same handful of canneries worldwide. The fish doesn't know which brand it's destined for. A senior making tuna salad weekly saves roughly $50 annually. That's a nice dinner out, just from switching brands. Worried about mercury? Chunk light options at Aldi contain the same lower mercury levels as expensive alternatives. 20 grams of protein per can, regardless of whether you paid 89 cents or $2. Now, butter is another story entirely, and the savings there might surprise you even more. Butter is butter, right? It's cream and salt. That's it. There's no secret formula, no proprietary blend, no magic cows making premium butter. Yet somehow, Land O'Lakes convinces people to pay $4 to $5, while Aldi's Countryside Creamery sits there at $2.99 doing the exact same job. My grandmother would have called that highway robbery. Here's what most folks don't realize. Aldi's butter comes from the same dairy cooperatives supplying those fancy brands. Same cows, same churning process, different label. Want European-style butter with higher fat content for flakier pie crusts? Aldi's got it. Need unsalted for your heart-healthy recipes? They've got that too. Buy a pound weekly at Aldi instead of Kroger or Safeway, and you're pocketing roughly $75 annually. But butter's just the beginning of your dairy savings. Wait until you see what happens with Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt has become the darling of the health food world. But here's what nobody tells you. That fancy Chobani cup is basically the same thing as Aldi's Friendly Farms version. Same thick texture, same tangy taste, same 12 to 15 grams of protein per serving. The difference? About 50 cents a cup. My doctor told me to eat more yogurt for gut health. I almost fainted when I saw Whole Foods prices. Then I discovered Aldi. Those active cultures everyone raves about? Identical across brands. Lactobacillus doesn't care if it lives in a premium container or a budget one. Plain yogurt fans, rejoice. You can control your sugar intake without paying extra for the privilege. And the single-serve cups mean no more half-eaten tubs going fuzzy in the back of your fridge. Now, speaking of Italian staples that'll save you serious cash, all right, let's talk about the laziest meal in existence, pasta night. Aldi's Regano pasta runs about 89 cents a box. Barilla at the regular store? Double that. Sometimes more. Here's what most people don't realize. That Durham wheat semolina in your spaghetti? It comes from the same Kansas and North Dakota mills, regardless of the brand. You're literally paying extra for a different cardboard box. But the sauce is where Aldi really shines. Glass jars for $1.49 versus $3 or $4 for Prego. Read both labels. Tomatoes, olive oil, garlic, basil. Nearly identical. And here's a fancy detail. Aldi's imported Italian pasta uses bronze die extrusion. That rough texture grabs sauce better than the smooth stuff. Even some expensive brands skip this step. Make pasta twice a week? You're saving about $80 a year. Speaking of daily rituals, coffee drinkers are about to love this next one. Here's the thing about coffee. You're not paying for better beans. You're paying for that green mermaid logo. Aldi's Barissimo bags run $4 to $5. The same quality from Starbucks? $8 to $10. Gone. And these aren't mystery beans from who knows where. Colombian, Brazilian, Ethiopian. The exact same regions supplying the fancy roasters downtown. My neighbor swore she could taste the difference. So I ran a little experiment. Served her Aldi coffee in a Starbucks cup. She said it was the best cup she'd had in years. I still haven't told her the truth. Daily coffee drinkers? You're looking at $100 to $150 in annual savings. That's a nice dinner out. Every single year. They even make Keurig-compatible pods at half the price of name brands. But coffee only gets you through the morning. Wait until you see what Aldi does with frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables don't get enough respect. And honestly, they deserve a standing ovation. Aldi's Season's Choice bags cost about $1. The same mix at Kroger? $2 to $3 easy. That's not a small difference when you're filling your freezer every week. Here's what most people get wrong. They think frozen means less nutritious. Actually, the opposite is true. These vegetables get flash frozen within hours of harvest. That locks in vitamins better than fresh produce sitting in a truck for 2 weeks. For anyone with achy knees or a bad hip, frozen veggies are a lifesaver. No washing, no chopping, no racing to use them before they go bad. Those steam-in-bag options, identical to Green Giant. Same concept, same result, half the price. Buy 1 bag weekly at Aldi instead of elsewhere. That's $75 back in your pocket annually. But vegetables aren't the only pantry staple where Aldi dominates. Honey might be the simplest food on the planet. Bees make it. We eat it. That's the whole ingredient list. So why does anyone pay $10 for fancy honey when Aldi sells the same thing for $4 or $5? Here's what most people don't realize. Pure honey is pure honey. There's no secret formula, no proprietary bee technology. It's just nectar that got processed through some very hard-working insects. Aldi's Berry Hill brand actually tests positive for pollen content. That matters because some sketchy imports get diluted with corn syrup and filtered until they're basically sugar water wearing a honey costume. And those squeeze bottles? Absolute lifesaver for anyone whose hands don't cooperate like they used to. No wrestling with sticky glass jars. $40 saved annually on honey alone. Not bad for something you drizzle on toast. Speaking of pantry staples that seem overpriced everywhere else. Almonds cost a small fortune at regular stores. Blue Diamond wants $8 to $10 for a bag you'll finish in a week. Aldi's Southern Grove almonds, $4 to $5 for the same thing. Here's what most people don't realize. California grows about 80% of the world's almonds. Every major brand sources from the same orchards. Same trees, same nuts, different labels. My cardiologist told me to eat a handful daily for heart health. I said, "Doc, at these prices, I'll need a cardiologist for the stress of paying." Then I found Aldi. Seniors snacking on almonds daily save roughly $100 annually. That's not pocket change, that's a nice dinner out. Raw, roasted, salted, Aldi stocks them all. The resealable bags actually work too, keeping nuts fresh instead of turning them into expensive stale disappointments. Speaking of kitchen staples, chicken breast prices might surprise you. Chicken breasts might just be the most overpriced protein at regular grocery stores. $4 to $5 a pound? For chicken? That's highway robbery, with a polite smile. Aldi charges $2 to $3 per pound for the exact same boneless, skinless breasts. Same USDA inspection. Same quality standards. Different price tag. Here's what most people don't realize. All chicken sold in America passes through identical federal inspection processes. The guy checking Aldi's chicken is using the same clipboard as the guy at Whole Foods. Want antibiotic-free? Aldi sells that too, for less than conventional chicken costs elsewhere. My doctor told me to eat more lean protein. Didn't tell me to go broke doing it. The smaller packages work perfectly for seniors cooking for one or two. No more freezing half a family pack and forgetting about it for 6 months. Now, chicken's covered. But what about keeping your house clean without emptying your wallet? Now let's talk about something you use every single day, but probably never thought twice about. Dish soap, cleaning sprays, disinfecting wipes. Here's the thing most people don't realize. The stuff that actually cleans in Dawn? Surfactants. The same surfactants in Aldi's $1.50 bottle. Identical chemistry, different price tag. My neighbor swore by name brand everything until I showed her the ingredient labels side by side. She nearly fell over. Aldi's disinfecting wipes kill 99.9% of germs. Lysol wipes? Same exact number. The bacteria don't check which logo is on the container before dying. And here's what really adds up. Annual savings on cleaning supplies alone can exceed $100. That's a nice dinner out just from switching where you buy your dish soap. Plus, the concentrated formulas mean smaller bottles. Easier to carry. Easier to store. But cleaning your house is one thing. What about cleaning up your health routine? Here's the thing about vitamins that nobody talks about. Your body doesn't care about fancy packaging. It doesn't recognize brand names. A molecule of vitamin D is a molecule of vitamin D, whether it cost you $4 or $15. Aldi's WellBe vitamins contain the exact same compounds as Centrum or 1 a day. Milligram for milligram. The USP verification standards? Identical across the board. I used to buy the expensive stuff, thought I was doing something good for myself. Then a pharmacist friend laughed at me. Literally laughed. Fish oil supplements at Aldi have the same EPA and DHA levels. Calcium tablets dissolve the same way. B12 absorbs identically. Seniors taking daily vitamins save roughly $75 to $100 annually just by switching brands. That's real money for the same health benefits. But speaking of health essentials, let's talk about something even more basic. And finally, the item that saves you money while saving you from pain. Aldi's WellBe brand ibuprofen costs $2 to $3. The same bottle of Advil? $7 to $10. Here's what most people don't realize. The FDA doesn't play favorites. Generic medications must contain identical active ingredients in identical dosages with identical effectiveness. That's the law, not a suggestion. Your body has no idea whether that pill came from a fancy bottle with a celebrity spokesperson or a simple Aldi package. It just knows 200 milligrams of ibuprofen showed up to work. Seniors managing arthritis or everyday aches save $50 to $75 annually on this single purchase. And pharmacists will tell you the same thing I'm telling you now. There's zero medical difference. None. So that's 25 items you should never buy anywhere else. Your wallet will thank you. Your grandkids might even get bigger birthday checks.